Live and local. From Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210, WPHT. The Virtual Home Show.
Welcome back to the Virtual Home Show here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Paul Perello thanking you for spending this part of your day with us here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. We have a few more folks stopping by for our Virtual Home Show, and I want to welcome Chris Drucquer, owner, one of 15 owners of Certapro here in the greater Philadelphia area, and we're going to get into what Certapro is all about, how Certapro can help you if you're looking for someone to come in and take care of your house on the inside. You definitely want to stay tuned for this segment here on the Virtual Home Show. Let's say hello to Chris Drucquer from Certapro. Chris, welcome to the Virtual Home Show.
Thanks, Paul.
So tell me a little bit about Certapro. What is Certapro, and how long have you been in business?
Certapro is a national franchise painting company.
Okay.
I've been around since the beginning, which was 20 years ago. We focus on both residential and commercial painting. Mm-hmm. And we focus on our customers having a great experience.
Yeah, because oftentimes, needless to say, just the tumult that often comes with a painting project inside the house. People expect the painter to show up on Monday morning. He or she may arrive Thursday afternoon, and then the house is in a state of chaos until that job is done. But sure. One thing that I have learned is that when it comes to a Certapro, it is really all about service. It's all about that customer and making sure that he, she, they are pleased and happy with the experience from start to finish.
Yeah, I mean, the big difference with us is, a lot of painters are not true businessmen, mm-hmm. and we're businessmen that happen to be in the painting space. Sure. And we have a step-by-step system to make sure that we do things the right way and we show up on time and the correct day and that mm-hmm. type of thing.
Oh, that's so important. So are you doing both residential and business projects then?
It's about 50-50.
50-50, yeah. So what sets, besides service and sticking to that schedule and that plan, if you will, why is Certapro different, better than some of the other? You mentioned that you're business people that are in the painting arena, if you will. Yep. But anything else that sets your company, Certapro, aside from other people that are out there?
Yeah, I'd say two things stand out, and that's people and the service system that we have. Mm-hmm. People, I just met with my crew chiefs on Friday, and they just have so much passion for what they do, and they really, they brag about how happy their customers are. That's mm-hmm. what they talk about, at the end of the day on Friday is how they please their customer. So that's a big piece of it. We hire for attitude and train for skill. We bring a lot of craftsmen in that have the right attitude, but I'd rather have someone that has the right attitude and train them how to paint than the other way around.
One other thing that, I know a lot of people are concerned with is that if I am letting people, any contractor, any workman or worker come into the house to do work, is that I'm going to be guaranteed and satisfied that I'm not going to have to worry about where things are in the home. So what type mm-hmm. of guarantees does Certapro bring to the table, making sure that those people that are working for you are of the most reputable character to do that job in that house or business?
Well, obviously we do background checks to make sure they're quality individuals. Mm-hmm. Most of our painters come through referral from another painter. Sure. So we've had painters that have been with us 10 or 15 years, and their reputation's on the line. They only bring in quality people. Mm-hmm. And that's where most of our painters come from, is within.
So anybody thinks that they might be able to be a painter. Heck, I could pick up a bucket of paint and get a brush, and I might be able to, whitewash a wall. But there's an art, there's a craft to a painting, because chances are I would probably also spill the paint on the floor and the speckle all over the place, right. If you will. I'm guessing you take your job, and all the folks at Certapro take their job and their task much more seriously than I would if I was painting, a bedroom in my own house.
I can't speak for you for sure. Yes, they take a lot of pride in the craftsmanship, but a big part of it is getting set up. Mm-hmm. It's protecting the floor properly. It's putting clean plastic on the furniture. That type of thing is just as important. So if you were to have a drip, it falls mm-hmm. on something like a drop cloth that's going to catch it. Yeah.
Do you work with the customer, the client, whether it's a person living in a home in the city or on the main line, or it's a business? Do you work with them to make sure that the job is going to get done in a timely manner with not too much interruption to the regular lifestyle or the productivity of that business?
Absolutely. I mentioned the service system that we have, mm-hmm. and the first step is the certainty pledge. when we meet with a client for the first time. They, of course, want to show us which walls they want painted and which windows on the outside they want painted. And we want to talk about that, of course, of the colors. But we also want to talk about what's important to them. We ask questions such as, which may we use the bathroom when we're working at your house, and if so, which one? Do you have any pets? Are they allowed outside? Is there an invisible fence? Do we need to make sure the gates are closed? Are there young children that need to take naps? What times do they take their naps? And we'll be quiet during those periods. So we ask a lot of questions like that. We typically work 8:30 to 5, but we're flexible. Do we? Some people like to sleep in. Some people leave for work at 7 o'clock, so we'll meet them before they leave.
And that's really, really important to hear. I want to mention the website and the phone number, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to give Certapro Painters a call, here is the toll-free number. It's 800-GO-CERTA, and that's with a C. That's 800-GO-CERTA, 800-GO-CERTA, or if you prefer the numbers, it's 800-462-3782. And, of course, their website is certapro.com, CERTAPRO.com. And I'll mention that information a number of times before the end of the segment. If you want to call in and talk with Chris Drucquer, one of the owners of Certapro here in the greater Philadelphia area, the phone lines are open right now. You may have a project that you want to run by Chris and see if this would be the right fit for you and them. Give us a call right now, 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. If you want to use your AT&T Verizon wireless phone, all you have to do is push pound 1210. So the phone lines are open right now. We have Chris for about another 15 minutes or so. We'd love to hear from you. Hey, you may have that painting project that you say, just like me, yeah, I'm going to get to it. My wife loves hearing that. Yeah, I'm going to get to it. Maybe you need to get a professional in to do it for you. You just don't have the time. You don't, you're running here, there, and everywhere. Maybe you want to get Certapro to come in and take a look at that project. And Chris, can they call and schedule an estimate if in fact they're, they may say, well, the job may not be big enough for them, or it might be too big. I mean, can they call and get an estimate, and how does that work?
Okay, so 2 points. One, no job too big, no job too small.
Okay.
Like a small job, we will paint a front door because we know that they'll be impressed with our service and they'll call us for the next project and they'll refer us. And then we're very easy to schedule with. If they called right now, our phones are still open until 5 o'clock on Saturday.
Okay.
And then Monday through Friday, it's 8 a.m. to midnight. They can reach us. They get a live person and they can schedule an appointment on the spot. Same with the website. They can go directly to the website, certapro.com, and they can schedule online.
So I'm guessing, given the fact that no job too small, no job too big, is that if they're coming, let's say they're looking at that front door right now, as they're listening to the program, they're like, yeah, I've been putting this off for quite some time. I do need the front door painted. So I call Certapro and somebody comes out and they do the job. Chances are you get a lot of repeat business, and oftentimes that's perhaps the best vehicle to spread the word are those testimonials that come from the customers that are using you for those small jobs and for those large jobs.
Absolutely. It's our bread and butter. More than 60% of our work is either a previous customer that we've worked with before or a word-of-mouth lead. I mean, that's where we get our work for the most part.
So give me an idea then, if a person is calling Certapro at 800-GO-CERTA, that's 800-462-3782, and they're saying, I want to do something with the living room. I'm just tired of looking at the white walls. I've lived with these white walls now for 30 years. I want to do something different. And I guess because of the proliferation of all these, home remodeling homes programs on television, that we see these color paints that are so vibrant and they just jump out at you, and everybody says, I got to have that shade of blue in the house. So do you have a person that is tuned into color consulting? They are able to work with the homeowner or the business person to maybe advise them or help them through the selection process of what color is right for the home?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, most of our clients want some sort of a change. They have a little bit of expertise, but they're not experts in choosing colors, and they're afraid to make a big mistake. So we have color consultants that essentially go in, meet with our client, complimentary. Typically, it's about an hour appointment. The first 45 minutes is getting to know the client, asking them about what's staying in the room, what's not, what colors do they love, what inspires them, what were their thoughts, and then walking them through choosing some great colors. And the big thing that I love about this is when that appointment's over, they typically have chosen colors that they're really excited about and confident in. So when the crew shows up, they're not looking over the crew's shoulders every minute, just making sure the color is right. They have complete confidence in the color. And I don't mean to throw a curveball here, but let's say the home or the business
has some type of wall covering, whether it's wallpaper. I mean, a lot of homes have wallpaper, and then all of a sudden you're sick of the wallpaper after 25 years. And I know that I don't necessarily want wallpaper now, but I would rather just have the room painted. Can you work through that process of getting the wallpaper off? I mean, is that part of it, or do they need to bring in another contractor to remove the wallpaper before you come in and paint the walls?
We remove wallpaper as well.
You do?
There's certain instances where we paint over it, but 95% of the time we're stripping the wallpaper and then painting the walls.
Oh, that's so important. That's so important to hear. So, again, if you have questions, phone lines are open right now, 855-839-1210. If you've been putting off that painting job because you just don't have time for it, well, the weather's getting nicer. Now's the time you want to jump on board and call Certapro. Their number is 800-GO-CERTA. That's 800-GO-CERTA, or 800-462-3782. They have 15 local offices serving the greater Philadelphia region. And if you want to go online to the website, it's certapro.com, CERTAPRO.com. You want to give us a call and talk with Chris Drucquer, one of the owners of Certapro here in the greater Philadelphia area, 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210, AT&T, Verizon Wireless. All you have to do is push pound 1210. Let's talk. We focused a lot here on just homes and residential part of the business, but what about commercial? I mean, we're talking about office buildings, or maybe it's a small business in Delaware County. You also are able to go in and again, not going in and disrupting the workplace, because ultimately it's all about those people being able to go in, do their job, and to remain productive and keep that productivity going while you're doing your job on your end.
Yeah, a perfect example is we've done several Steven Starr restaurants, including the Continental, the first one.
Yep.
And they close around 1 a.m., and then they open again at, I think, noon or so. So we paint all night.
How about that?
So my guys arrive at like 1:15 and start painting, and they need to be out of there and cleaned up by 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is you want to, it's a general question, but I throw it out there for what it's worth, is that, people want the job done, and most oftentimes they want it done like immediately. So you're giving them basically a roadmap or a calendar, if you will, saying that we'll arrive on Monday morning, this is what we'll do, and you're working with them to work through the whole process, but at least they'll know what the end game is. They'll know that by the end of the week or the end of 10 days, the project's going to be completed and you're going to be moved out of there, and life will get back to normal for everybody.
Yeah, it's two things. It's communication ahead of, before we start, to give them a general sense of when we're coming and when we're going to finish. But then what our crew does as part of that certainty service system is each day they spend a couple minutes with the client, review what they did that day, what they're doing the next day, and just in general when they expect to be done with the job.
And given the, I guess the scope of the project will determine how many people will be on the crew. I mean, if you're doing a basement and it's a small row house, chances are there may be one or two people. If you're doing a big restaurant like one of the Steven Starr properties, it's going to be more than two people working on that job.
Sure. I mean, what we find is, as great as our guys are, and again, they're just gentlemen, they're mannerly, they're nice to have around. After a week or so, you still want to get back. You want your house back.
Sure.
So we will add people to the job so we're done. We try to get done within a week.
Yep. So when those color consultants come out to the home, they come out to the business, and they sit there and they talk with the person, and they have the person, the homeowner, the business person has their idea of what colors they want, and the color consultant is going to work with them as much as possible. Have you ever heard of a color or a shade of a color that has been so far off the beaten path that you got to scratch your head and say, gee, I don't know how we're going to be able to pull this off. I don't know. I've never seen this color before. I've never heard of this color before. Has that ever happened, or is that color consultant going to work with that person to make it, to come to some type of compromise that's going to benefit everybody all the way around? I got them thinking on this one now. Yeah.
Normally, our color consultants are helping people choose a color that might be considered a little bit risky for them, but the color consultant knows it's going to be great.
Okay.
So it's convincing someone to take a little bit of a risk. Of course, every once in a while we have a client that really has, what we think is a little bit of a crazy color. We'll politely, discuss options that they can consider. But in the end, color is personal. It's what the people want.
Mm-hmm. And are there different types of paints that you're using on, I guess, different types of projects? But, oftentimes, we hear of, flat, where we hear of, semi-gloss. I'm probably dating myself with some of these terms.
No, you're good so far.
I'm good so far. Maybe I should just stop right there. But I mean, everybody has a vision or an idea of what they want the room to look like. But oftentimes they'll just go to the big box store and they'll just grab a gallon of whatever it is. And maybe, they just live with the results. But again, the folks at Certapro are going to work with that person to let them know that maybe a semi-gloss finish might work better here or a flat might work better there.
Yeah, I mean, the rule of thumb, there are two things to consider. Washability and just hiding the flaws.
Mm-hmm.
If you use, on typical walls, you're using flat. And the main reason
Mm-hmm.
is old houses, they have flaws. And if you put a shiny paint on a surface like that, it's going to accentuate that flaw. So you don't really want that.
I wish I would have known that like 2 years ago. I'll tell you off the air what I did, but that's an important thing.
Ceilings are the worst because they get an angular sheen. The
Mm-hmm.
light comes in through the window, bounces off, and if you use a shiny paint on a ceiling, for the most part, unless they're absolutely spotless, they don't look so nice.
Yeah.
But you want some sheen in a bathroom, in a kitchen, because you want to wash it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then on trim, on a door, you probably want a semi-gloss because that's going to get the most traffic.
Yeah. Again, 4 minutes left. If you want to get in with a quick question, you got to act right now. This has been a very eye-opening experience for me. I think everybody wants their homes in tip-top shape. They want the rooms to look nice. They want to have that wow factor when they walk in. Whether it's your home or whether it's your place of business, you really want that room to be the showplace that you really want it to be. So if you want to call in and talk with Chris right now from Certapro, 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. You want to use that AT&T Verizon wireless phone, all you have to do is push pound 1210. On the other hand, you could go online. The company's website is Certapro.com, CERTA Pro.com. And if you want to go and give them a call, and I encourage you to do so, 800-GO-CERTA. That's with a C, 800-GO-CERTA. I think I'm correct in saying that everybody wants that living room, that basement, that maybe that office room, the boardroom, or maybe even the common area, the lunchroom, if you will, to be warm, inviting, welcoming, and you want to make sure that you're doing the best job and that the project lives up to your expectations. I think everybody in their head has their idea of how they want to see this project end up, and they want to make sure that your company is going to be able to deliver and make it what they want. You would agree.
Question?
It is a question. There's a question in there somewhere. Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. All right. I want to talk about Homes for Our Troops. This is a 5K race on May 20th in Ridley State Park supporting wounded warriors. I know this is a project very close to your heart. So let's talk a little bit here in a minute or two about what the project's all about.
Yeah, sure. And I should mention first, we just did a charity coat drive this winter.
Great.
And we were able to deliver over 250 coats to Kensington.
Wonderful.
So, so our next endeavor is this 5K race. It's Ridley State Park. It's May 20th.
Mm-hmm.
Registration is at $20.
Okay.
It's at Certapro.com/5K.
Okay.
All proceeds go to essentially redo wounded veterans' homes. So they're, say, wheelchair accessible, that type of thing.
Excellent.
So it's a great charity. It's going to be a great race, great event.
Okay. And again, they can go to the website and find out more information on the website about it. And it's only $20 to register for the race.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
And again, the website is Certapro.com. And then you could, right there on the page, you'll be able to find more information.
Sure. It's also /5K.
/5.
If they can't find it. Yeah.
All right. And again, that's going to be on May 20th in Ridley State Park. What time does that kick off?
9 a.m.
9 a.m. All right. Homes for Our Troops, a worthy cause, a worthwhile cause. And you could do your part to help Certapro and all the folks that will be turning out for that 5K race May 20th in Ridley State Park. Homes for Our Troops. And again, you can go to Certapro.com /5K. Again, if you want more information, just go to the website, Certapro.com. And if you want to call the folks at Certapro, call toll-free 800-GO-CERTA. That's 800-GO-CERTA. Or if you prefer the numbers, 462-3782. Chris Drucquer, one of the owners of Certapro in the greater Philadelphia area, with us on this edition of the Virtual Home Show. Chris, thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Paul. I appreciate it.
All right. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. One more segment straight ahead as we continue on the Virtual Home Show here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.